I moved into that lakeside neighborhood for peace, quiet, and maybe some trout on weekends. But what I got was Karen, HOA President Karen. Picture a blender filled with expired mayonnaise, entitled a entitlement, and a shriek that could sterilize crops. That was her. She spotted me on day one, fishing at the lake behind my own damn houched over like she was the sheriff of Pettyville. "Excuse me," she said, arms folded like pretzels of power. "That's private HOA water. Fishing is strictly prohibited unless you pay the $500 annual permit." Permit? It was a pond with delusions of grandeur, not Lake Michigan. I chuckled. "Karen, I live here. I pay dues. I'm catching dinner, not whales." She flipped her clipboard like it was a sacred HOA tablet and scribbled something fast enough to smoke the pen. "Then consider this your first violation. $750 fine." Her smile stretched like a rubber band, holding in years of bitter youth pageant losses. Let me pause here and say this to my viewers. If y'all are loving this mess, smash that like button and subscribe. I promise you, Karen's downfall is going to be worth every second. Anyway, I refused to pay. You know what she did? She posted my name and address in the HOA newsletter under neighborhood offenders, right next to a dude who once left his trash bin out for 32 minutes too long. My mailbox got egged. HOA Karen had weaponized the Karens. One of them even sent me a passive-aggressive, gluten-free pie with a note, "Maybe this will fill you up so you stop terrorizing the fish." I don't know what that means, but it tasted like drywall. That week, she ordered a 6-foot no fishing sign installed right in front of my dock, bold letters. Fluorescent yellow. I could see the reflection of my crushed dreams in it. But oh, we weren't done. She installed cameras, yes, surveillance-grade cameras, just to catch me reoffending. Caught me one night casting a line at dusk. Boom. Another $1,000 fine. I appealed. The HOA board, a bunch of her beige-wearing minions, denied it unanimously. One of them even said, "Rules are rules, friend." I almost bit him. Now here's where it gets spicy. I decided to attend the next HOA meeting. You'd think I walked into the Pentagon. Karen sat on a raised platform like the damn queen of regulations, gavel in hand like she was ready to summon Judge Judy. I approached the mic and said, "So, let me get this straight. You're fining me for fishing in a lake that my property touches, that I help pay to maintain, and that was in the damn real estate listing when I bought the house?" Karen's eyes narrowed like twin raisins of rage. "That's correct. We must protect the lake's ecology." Ecology? I'd seen more endangered species in a gas station bathroom. I called her bluff. "Show me the environmental report, Karen." She blinked. Her lackey in a salmon-colored sweater vest started flipping through pages. Crickets. Turns out there was no report, no studies, no scientists, just Karen's sacred clipboard and her hatred of people enjoying things. From that day, I stopped arguing. I smiled, waved to the camera each morning, even saluted the no fishing sign. Meanwhile, I started my research, and what I found, oh, it was gold. Turns out HOA Lake had a dirty little secret Karen didn't want getting out. You think this woman was annoying? Wait till you find out what she's hiding behind those bylaws and her obnoxiously loud floral blouses. But that's for later. For now, all you need to know is I had a plan. A wicked, beautiful plan. Want to see how far I'll go? Want to see Karen get served with a dish so cold it makes Antarctica jealous? 3 weeks after the meeting, I had officially turned into the HOA's favorite public enemy. Karen printed my face onto a "Do Not Engage" poster at the clubhouse, like I was some escaped zoo animal with a habit of throwing bait at civilians. I even caught a toddler pointing at me and whispering, "That's the late criminal, Mommy." I waved. The mom clutched her purse like I was about to rob the goldfish crackers right out of her kid's hand. Now, while Karen was busy organizing another mandatory tulip trimming seminar or whatever HOA presidents do for fun, I was digging deeper. I made friends with the county water inspector, a guy named Hank who looked like a melted popsicle but knew more about toxic algae than anyone alive. Over lunch, well, I ate. He smoked 6 menthols. We got into the nitty-gritty. Turns out, HOA Lake had a maintenance report so outdated it still referred to ducks as new invasive life forms. Karen hadn't scheduled a proper water treatment in 6 years. 6. That lake was marinating in frog farts and bacteria. But wait, it gets juicier. Karen had submitted fraudulent water quality reports to the county to avoid paying for lake upkeep. Straight up forgery. Her clean lake had levels of E. coli that could blind a goat. I took pictures, collected samples, and built a dossier thicker than her ugly woven purses. Still, I stayed quiet. I needed more than receipts. I needed spectacle. And if you're loving this dirty spiral of HOA drama, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're just warming up, and trust me, nuclear spice is coming. Anyway, I kept pretending to be broken. I started jogging around the lake with a fishing pole duct taped to my back just to mess with her. Karen would glare from her porch, mouth twitching like she was resisting the urge to call SWAT. She sent a final warning letter written in Comic Sans, I kid you not, telling me I was one infraction away from HOA expulsion. Expulsion? What is this, Hogwarts? Am I going to be defished? Then came the HOA Community Day. Big crowd, barbecue, kids playing tug of war with dogs, Karen dressed like a bottle of expired ketchup in a red pantsuit, barking orders into a megaphone she didn't need. Welcome, neighbors. Let's celebrate another year of order, respect, and community pride. She looked right at me when she said it. I blew her a kiss, but the crown jewel of the event, the grand unveiling of Lake Harmony's new safety campaign. Karen had banners, flyers, and a massive screen showing fish emojis with sad faces and captions like, "Leave us alone." Then she handed out flyers with my face photoshopped onto a bass. "Don't be this guy," it said. That night, as the party wound down and people chugged gluten-free root beer by the lake, I crept out and did something real petty. I dumped a bucket of live bait into Karen's koi pond. Nothing lethal, just enough to cause chaos. Woke up the next day to HOA group chats screaming about carnage and fish homicide. Karen accused raccoons. Then I dropped a hint. Anonymous tip to the board. Might want to check the lake's chemical levels. Just saying. Boom. Panic. HOA emergency meeting. Karen turned up with her clipboard shaking like she'd just lost the Miss HOA Universe crown. False. Our lake is pristine, she shouted, redder than a jalapeno in a sauna. Spoiler, it wasn't. Water test came back looking like a science experiment gone rogue. But Karen? She buried it. Shredded the report. Told the board it was a temporary lab glitch. I watched her lie with the confidence of a politician on Adderall. That's when I knew she wasn't just annoying. She was dangerous, and I was done playing nice. It was time to crank it up. No more playing coy. If Karen wanted a villain, she was about to get one with a PhD in payback and a minor in mayhem. I wasn't just going to make her uncomfortable, I was going to make her nervous. The kind of nervous where she checks her mailbox with a helmet on and Googles how to tell if someone is plotting revenge on you. I started with phase 1, psychological chaos. Every night for a week, I played whale mating sounds on a hidden speaker near the lake. People reported hearing strange aquatic moaning at night. Karen called animal control and said she was being haunted by amphibian demons. The local news showed up. I offered to pray over the lake. She chased me off with a rake. But the real masterpiece? I built a fake fishing statue out of a scarecrow, an old raincoat, and some PVC pipe. I placed it by the lake just before sunrise. From a distance, it looked like a man fishing in defiance of HOA law. Karen sprinted out of her house at 6 a.m. wearing a pink robe and combat boots, swinging a shovel like a meth-fueled piñata dad. She tripped, fell in the mud, and went viral on TikTok after someone's teenage daughter caught the whole thing. The audio? Me laughing in the distance like a cartoon supervillain. And if you're laughing too, you know what to do. Like and subscribe, because this HOA drama is getting tastier than Grandma's revenge lasagna. Next came phase 2, public humiliation. I printed fake Karen bucks and handed them out at the community garage sale. Each one featured Karen's face and the words redeemable for one fake rule. Kids used them to buy cookies. She nearly choked on a gluten-free brownie when she saw them. "This is slander," she yelled. I told her, "It's satire, free speech, Karen. Look it up." But Karen wasn't just mad, she was unraveling. She demanded an emergency vote to give herself supreme disciplinary powers. Half the board walked out mid-meeting. One guy fake sneezed and said, "Oh no, I'm allergic to dictatorship." I brought popcorn to the next meeting. She banned it. I brought nachos instead. She banned that too. At this point, the community was getting fed up. People were starting to whisper, "Why can't we fish? Who's paying for the lake maintenance? Why is Karen's face on all the flyers and not the HOA logo?" One bold resident, Dave from Lot 23, even confronted her at the dog park. Karen tried to cite him for public defiance. His chihuahua bit her ankle, but I wasn't satisfied. I wanted her paranoid, pacing, second-guessing reality. So I gave her a taste of her own tactics. I started mailing her anonymous HOA violations, excessive bird feeder activity, lawn gnome staring too aggressively, wearing Crocs before 8 a.m. She reported me to the sheriff. He laughed, handed me a donut, and said, "Keep it going. My wife watches this like a soap opera." Then came the final strike of Generation 3. I printed out a doctored newsletter that said the HOA was going to rename the lake Lake Karen's Wrath, and that swimming in it might cause extreme regret. I slipped it into every mailbox. The next morning, 30 angry residents stood outside her house holding fishing poles and inflatable rafts. Karen screamed like someone lit her tax returns on fire. But she wasn't done yet. She filed a lawsuit against me for emotional distress, unauthorized satire, and psychological baiting. Her lawyer quit 2 days later after finding out she paid him in expired Panera gift cards. So now it's a full-blown HOA civil war. Me versus Karen. The community caught in the crossfire, popcorn in hand. And, oh baby, we're just getting started. If this tale's making you cackle, smash that like button and hit subscribe. The lawsuit Karen filed was the best mistake she ever made, like handing a live grenade to a toddler and hoping it turns into a teddy bear. She thought dragging me into court would shut me up. Instead, she gave me a microphone and a stage. I walked into that courtroom wearing a camo fishing vest over a tuxedo shirt. The judge asked if I was trying to be funny. I said, "No, sir, just dressed for the baiting crime I was accused of." The bailiff laughed. Karen scowled so hard her Botox cracked. She came armed with binders, color-coded, laminated, tabs for offenses, witnesses, and unholy fish rituals. Her star witness was a guy named Earl who said he once saw me whisper to a catfish. The judge blinked 3 times and asked if this was real life. I presented my own evidence, actual lake pollution reports, the fake fishing poster videos, and a compilation reel of Karen harassing teenagers for skating too close to her driveway. The courtroom turned into a Netflix comedy special. Even the stenographer was chuckling. Case dismissed, with prejudice. Karen stormed out like a cartoon villain whose plan just exploded in her face. She even kicked over a recycling bin on the way out. Oh, the irony. But the real twist? The community had been watching and plotting. A few brave residents had started digging into HOA finances. Turns out Karen had been using HOA funds to pay for lake protection equipment, which included a heated patio chair, 6 boxes of wine, and a portable karaoke machine labeled emergency meeting tool. I couldn't make this up if I tried. That night, the board held an emergency vote, with her present. Karen tried to filibuster with a 30-minute speech about respecting the natural order. The moment she mentioned the phrase, "I am the alpha of this lake," someone started playing The Lion Sleeps Tonight from a Bluetooth speaker. She lost the vote 6-1. You'd think she'd give up. You'd think she'd go quietly. Nope. She doubled down, started her own breakaway HOA faction, called it the Real HOA, sent out flyers with a picture of her in front of the lake holding a scepter. It looked like a medieval war declaration. One resident spray-painted Queen of the Karens on her garage. She reported it as a hate crime. The cops called it a misunderstood compliment. Meanwhile, I was laying the final groundwork. The poisoned lake plan, purely theoretical until now, was moving into motion. Not to hurt anyone, oh no, just poetic vengeance. I began researching natural lake disruptors. Harmless to humans, absolute hell for smug HOA tyrants. I found a supplier, private, quiet, no questions asked. Let's just say the substance I secured wasn't illegal, but definitely controversial. It's used in rural farms to remind unwanted guests not to drink from certain ponds. I constructed a release system camouflaged inside a novelty duck decoy. It was waterproof, motion activated, and beautiful. I named it Karen's Karma. Tested it in a private pond first. Worked like a dream. Fish didn't die, but they went wild, splashing, churning the water, scaring off anyone within 50 feet. Made the pond smell like wet regret. Just enough chaos to cause confusion, panic, and neighborhood legend. I kept a straight face through it all. Karen, meanwhile, was unraveling. Started handing out pamphlets titled, "How to Spot a Domestic Fisherman." Claimed I was part of a lake-based cult. One of the kids in the neighborhood started calling her Captain Crackdown. It stuck. Then she held one final rally, her Hail Mary. Invited local news, set up a podium by the lake, gave a speech about HOA order, the evil of recreational fishing, and how the lake had chosen her as its protector. As she talked, I smiled. The duck was already floating. It happened on a Saturday, bright skies, birds chirping, and Karen standing lakeside in her usual dictator cosplay. Blazer, pearls, and a visor that said, "Hoa Boss." The crowd was bigger than expected. Half the neighborhood came out with lawn chairs and coolers like it was the 4th of July. Karen thought they were there to support her. No, sweetheart, they were here for the fall. She had set up a lake appreciation picnic. There were flyers, a bouncy castle, and an off-brand magician who clearly didn't know he'd been hired by Satan's receptionist. Karen was on a megaphone preaching about lake purity and enforcing fishing celibacy. A toddler threw a goldfish cracker at her. It stuck to her cheek. She kept talking like she was on CNN. And then, the duck moved. Karen noticed it first. "Whose unauthorized decoy is that?" she screeched, stomping toward the water. The duck bobbed innocently, as if it too was tired of Karen's HOA sermons. She reached for it, but the moment her shadow hit the surface, the sensor activated. Karen's karma came to life. The lake exploded in motion. Fish jumped like popcorn in a microwave. Frogs evacuated like it was biblical. The water turned a funky, thick grayish green, and the smell, oh God, the smell was something between rotten asparagus and despair. A cloud of mist rose like the ghosts of every fun time Karen ever killed. People started gagging, not out of danger, out of sheer sensory betrayal. Karen screamed, slipped in goose poop, and face-planted into her own picnic table. Her wig flew 10 feet like a frightened squirrel. The magician ran off yelling, "I didn't sign up for biowarfare." Kids were crying. Dogs howled. It was a symphony of HOA failure. Karen scrambled to her feet, dripping fruit punch and humiliation. "This is biological terrorism," she yelled. I calmly walked over, handed her a fishing rod, and said, "You banned me for this? Should have just let me catch a bass." She lunged, slipped again, fell headfirst into a tub of coleslaw. The crowd lost it. One neighbor live-streamed the whole thing with the caption, "Karen tries to baptize herself in shame." Within an hour, the video had 2 million views and a remix with trap beats. She went viral, all right, for looking like a rejected Scooby-Doo villain who just discovered karma in liquid form. The HOA board had had enough. In a unanimous decision, they removed her as president, evicted her from her home, citing misuse of community funds, and renamed the lake Fisherman's Revenge. A bronze plaque was installed near the shore that read, "In memory of common sense, drowned here by Karen." She tried to sue again. No lawyer would touch her. Even the free ones at the mall kiosk said, "Yeah, no." She attempted a final desperate act, posting on Nextdoor that the lake was cursed and I was a warlock. Someone responded, "Does he take apprentices?" Karen moved out under the cover of night, U-Haul packed, dignity left behind. Last I heard, she was trying to enforce leaf-blowing curfews in a town called Possum Creek. God help them. As for me, I fish every morning now, with a folding chair, a bucket hat, and a Bluetooth speaker that plays Karen's Meltdown on repeat. I made t-shirts that say, "Lake Liberator." People honk when they drive by. The lake is peaceful now, the water's clear, the fish are biting, and the neighborhood is finally free. The only rule on the new HOA charter? Thou shalt not Karen. Like and hit the subscribe button.